Today I've got Mike Mansfield from Coffee Processing here, and we're going to discuss his origin trip. So, Mike, where did you go?
Well, Chris, I went to Peru,
Okay.
to the big city of Lima, and to dozens of small communities in the mountainside regions to visit all the coffee.
And how long ago was this?
This was a year and a half ago,
All right. So that was what?
2018.
2018.
Yeah.
All right. Nice. Tell me, what were two things that you learned about coffee that you didn't know prior to the source trip?
Well, one thing in particular about Peru is I learned that the majority of the coffee is organic coffee. And that's just because all the farms there, the coffee growers are very small, family-owned farms. And it's more convenient and more efficient for them to do it organically, to grow the coffee. So whether they eventually sell it as organic or not, majority of coffee there is grown organically.
You know, you hear that a lot in the industry, that farmers actually either can't afford the pesticides for their farm, or they actually would rather put that money back into their workers and the farm itself. And so a lot of the coffee out there is naturally grown organic, but because you have to pay that certification fee, a lot of farmers actually refrain from doing that.
Interesting.
Yep.
And I would say the second thing is I was amazed by the impact that coffee has on the communities out there. I mean, every aspect of the communities is impacted by coffee. When children go to school, the security or police force, everything it revolves around the coffee growers, the seasons. I mean, coffee impacts their lives 100% in those communities, and I was totally blown away by that.
Great, great. What was your biggest takeaway from your experience?
Just a bigger appreciation for coffee in general. So we take it for granted here in the plant. You know, we see a little spill of coffee on the floor, and we probably don't think twice about it. But after seeing how much work goes into every pound of coffee, all of the labor intensive, it's just amazing, and it makes you get a bigger appreciation for coffee. It makes you look at it differently, and certainly coming back here and seeing our dynamic processes, even here when we see coffee beans on the floor, it kind of gives you a new perspective.
And that actually goes into my next question. How do you see coffee now being on a source trip?
So yeah, so now I just look at it differently. Before it was just, you see a pound of coffee that's wasted. It's a pound of coffee, so we got thousands of pounds we have to get to. But looking at it differently now, knowing what goes into every pound of coffee, I try to pass that on to team members as well. Saying, let's appreciate every coffee bean out there, because it's not just what happens here, but what happens, before it gets here. And,
yeah. So there's a lot of people out there that really don't know that one tree only produces about 1.5 to 2 pounds of coffee a year. And so to see how many trees and shrubs that we have out on the floor, we're holding close to 1 million pounds of coffee on the floor at any given time. And anytime we're having to scrap a 1,000-pound bag, or we have an issue with coffee that ends up being scrapped out, it's really hard to see all that work that was put into that coffee and for it to fail at that step.
yes, and I had an opportunity to actually pick some cherry beans, and it's very labor intensive. It's very hot, and it's on the side of the mountain range, and it's just not easy work, and so it really gives you appreciation for what you do.
So tell me, Mike, how long did you guys pick for?
So we picked for 2 hours, right? And that was enough for us, right?
Yeah.
But those guys out there, they pick 12-hour days, until the sun goes down.
So I'm curious, how many pounds of coffee did you guys pick in that 2 hours?
So I don't remember exact weight, but we had a bucket, and that was like a third full. And the professional pickers out there, they run like 5 buckets, 6 buckets. So obviously, you know, and it's not just how much you pick, it's you gotta pick the right beans. Because to your point, each tree, they might have good beans and they might have beans that are not ready yet to pick. So you can't just go ahead and pick everything off.
Which you can actually see
You can
back
see
here.
it.
So we've got ripe cherries ready to pick.
Exactly.
These red ones and these green ones are still immature and aren't ready to pick. And so the job of the picker is to only pick the ripe cherries from the tree, allow the green ones to mature and pick when they're ready.
And believe it or not, that takes skill.
Yes. And one thing I actually learned from my source trip to Mexico was that there's actually a trick to picking the cherry. You have to do a pull and twist at the same time because you don't want to pull the cherry stem with that coffee. Because if you were to do that, a coffee cherry wouldn't grow there the following season. And so we had people inspecting our baskets regularly, ensuring that we weren't picking that stem, which, you know, to see the level of detail that is put into just picking coffee, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, it truly was.
What impact did the source trip have on you professionally and personally?
Both professionally and personally, it's just how I look at coffee beans. I mean, and I can't overstate that. It's just, you know, you do this every day. I mean, I've been doing it for 10 years. You've been doing it for forever. But to see all the labor and to see how coffee just impacts the lives of so many people. I mean, the entire communities. It gives you respect for it. So what we do here, we do a lot of good here for our own community, but what we do for the other communities and providing opportunities for all those communities out there, to me, that gives me a new perspective, and I'm really proud to be what I'm doing what I'm doing because, it affects a lot of people.
Great. Is there anything else that you would like to share about your trip?
No, I would say that I would recommend everyone, if they have an opportunity, to go on the Sauce trip. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Yeah.
It truly is.
And it's a very small percentage of people that actually get to go. I mean,
Yes.
each source trip, there's only 15, 16 people, and I think they have, 5 trips a year?
5 or 4, yeah.
Yep. So it's a very small group of people that actually get to go, and, you know, have Mike here sharing his experience with us is a great treat for us, and being able to get his story out to others is great for not only for him to share his story, but to share the story of those working in the fields. So Mike, we've got some Peru freshly brewed. Let's take a taste and let's share that experience from the cup.
Mm. So Chris, very smooth.
Yep.
Just very good actually.
Yeah. Peru is a great coffee. It's a well-rounded cup of coffee. You know, I'm getting first off some cocoa right in the front, and then it goes into a nice herby character, very silky body mouthfeel.
Yep, I got that.
With a caramel finish. Just a great cup of coffee. It'd be a great base coffee for any blend, but also very good on its own.
I don't disagree with anything you
Well, Mike, any last words?
said. No, I would just say that what I really was most impressed is by the people of Peru. We went to several family farms, and you know, they always invite you in. They always cook you this big dinner, even though you don't know what half the stuff is you eat. They make this big dinner for you. They're just so happy that you're visiting them. And I was really, I went away with really being impressed by that. I mean,
Actually, speaking of dinner, what was your favorite thing you ate there?
okay, my favorite thing or my weirdest thing? Because
We can go both.
I actually, I didn't know I was eating it, but I ate guinea pig. And guinea pig is actually a very special meal in Peru. So I had some guinea pig. I didn't know I was eating it, but it tastes like chicken. But and yeah, so I mean, most of the food there I thought was very, very good, very, very well made. And yeah, just the guinea pig thing, I have to kind of get over it. But
Great, great. Well, thanks, Mike, for joining us on this episode of Unfiltered. Everybody, join us next week as we explore the world of iced coffee. We're going to brew different methods of iced coffee and really see, what is out there for you guys. And hopefully you guys will be able to try that out and experience it for yourself. Until then, cheers, guys. Thank you.